Ethiopia. I'm 19 and I'm a sophomore here at Washington State University. I am a part of the Honors College and the McNair Scholars Program. I was definitely really nervous because in more of the academic classroom and teaching environment, I'm more of an in-person type of learner, especially with teachers if I want to go get help, or specifically with like math and things like that. I do go to the MLC in person and it's easier, and I was kind of scared because online is very different. It's not as, I guess, intimate in a way with just you and the teacher and your classmates and everything. It's an online setting. It's kind of harder to really go for help. That's what I at least thought anyways in the beginning. And I was really nervous that I wouldn't be able to learn as much when I'm not actually there instead of like online. I think my biggest challenge was not being able to, or like not suffering in silence. That's, I think, what my dad called it. If I'm struggling in person, I find it easier to go there, but because of distance learning, I don't even know. I just felt like, maybe I should get it, and I don't want to ask for help, and I would just be suffering because my grades wouldn't be as well in certain assignments and things like that, and I would suffer and I wouldn't want to go ask. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna be annoying. And they go to all their online office hours and they're like, this girl should leave me alone. But I think that's something that I ended up overcoming, just starting to push myself a little out of my comfort zone and asking for help as much as possible and as much as I needed it, because they do understand that online learning is harder for people, especially those that learn better in person.
I mean, it was so abrupt when that first switched last spring that, like, at first it didn't even really seem real. And last spring was different because since we'd had so many weeks in the classroom already, it kind of felt like I knew students. So I feel like the transition in spring, even though it was abrupt and chaotic, at least we felt like we knew each other. This year has been really different, and I think it's been good in some ways and difficult in other ways.
Something that I don't really like about online class, like distance learning, I guess, which isn't really its fault, but it's just like not being able to sometimes feel like things are easily accessible in terms of help if teachers are not available for office hours, like finding TAs, or they're like their Zoom things don't work. And sometimes even when you want help in person, you can get like one-on-one just with you and the teacher, you and the TA. But like in an online world, it's like however many people show up, and sometimes it feels awkward to ask your questions when everyone's there instead of having that one-on-one.
I think that it's been hard to get people to have the same types of discussions online that we would in person, but it's also opened up opportunities to do things like comments through the chat and polls and other things that we couldn't do in class, and that's allowed us to have like more voices and examples than is sometimes possible in the classroom.
Engineering is really like you have to kind of be there and have these experiences, more hands-on type of things, even when it's not a hands-on type of class. Being in person is really beneficial for that because you get to physically see what you're doing and helping, and having it like on a screen all the time. And a lot of teachers, even when they're teaching us at the beginning, they're like, usually if we're in a classroom setting, I would have you physically do this activity. But because we're not, I just have to like write this equation or show you. And it's kind of hard when you're not physically doing it yourself to see it and have it enter your brain that way. And that's how it felt at first. But I feel like once I started taking more time to go to office hours more often than I guess I would on an in-person because I know it would have to take me more effort and I would have to put in more work, then I found a way for it to benefit myself, even if it wouldn't be the same as if I was in person. Now I'm doing much better. At first it was definitely really difficult, and at a point it was like, well, I definitely don't think this distance learning is a thing. And although it's uncomfortable at first and definitely kind of set me back a little bit, and I wasn't doing as well as I would have hoped to do, like just starting off, but as soon as I just figured out I had to put in more effort, and although I may feel obnoxious, but show up to office hours all the time, no matter if I feel like it or not, get a lot of help, just like put in more effort and do that, then it made distance learning better for me because I actually feel like I was actually learning instead of just trying to skate by. I feel like teachers are, I guess they're more understanding in the online setting because they understand that we're struggling a little more, and it's hard to deal with, a pandemic and limited social abilities and not feeling as comfortable in going to them and things. The best thing, I guess, that happened so far is me being certified into my major. That was really exciting. That happened this academic year, and yeah, I was really excited.